Welcome everybody. This is the video of the making of the HarleyQuinn GTXchef knife. We're starting out here with it hardened already. So it's already been trimmed down, hardened, and ready to go. I'm over here grinding away. I ground on this thing, started out with a 120 grit ceramic shredder belt from Combat Abrasives. I started at such a high grit because I did not want to grind through too much of the pattern on this knife. The steel came from Baker Forge and Tool, and it is beautiful bronze Damascus sandmai over an 80 CRV2 core, and it's only just about 3/32 thick, so it would be very easy to grind through too much of the knife and it not come out properly. I did a lot of hours of hand sanding on this blade. It took quite a bit to make sure that it was going to be perfectly smooth and not have any kind of issues. It was ground all the way up to 2000 grit and buffed and polished before it was ever etched or anything of that nature. I made sure to grind and sand along the spine to make sure that everything was nice and smooth and contoured perfectly. Went over and got my scales all set up, got the holes drilled and everything ready to go for the next step and getting the handle and everything done before I started etching anything. Here it is just before I grind out the profile, and got the front butts all nice and polished up and ready to go. And then we moved on to etching the blade. This was the first test etch, and then after a bit more sanding, I did the final etch on the blade and got it here going into the coffee so that we could get that real good contrast with the dark carbon steel core. Here it is all finished up. Then we moved on to the handle. Lots and lots of work. Again, slow working on the handle, doing a lot of contouring, trying to make sure that all the G10 pins didn't burn as I went. A good sharp belt is really needed for this. The stabilized dyed maple burl was great material to work with. This particular set I got from Ceramic Summit Wood Blanks, and I did use a Ultrex G10 liner as well, really thin 1/16 liner, and it mainly comes out as a real nice contrast and kind of fades from the red to the black. This is my small wheel attachment that I actually just got on my Broadbeck Ironworks 2x72 grinder. As you can tell here, it's just a flip of a switch to work it horizontal. It really made a huge difference on how well I was able to get into the finger choil area of this particular knife. It is very comfortable to work and hold and handle, and I attributed a lot of it to being able to get that little bit extra step on it with this particular attachment. Again, back to hand sanding. You can see I'm getting into the contours here. I have a micarta stick that I have put some different angles and edges on so that I can get into rounded spots and work all the flat areas as well with all the facets on this knife. And here it is after sanding all the way up to 2000 grit, running it on a buffer with some white compound from Combat Abrasives. You can see the contrast in the pins with the black pins in the redwood and red pins in the black areas, and that red liner popping out there. It's really, really a sweet setup. Trying to get all these facets done properly was quite the task, let me tell you. The finished product, as you can see, is beautiful. The bronze looks like gold in the Damascus. It's not a light trick or anything along those lines. It is really a beautiful set of metal, having that gold looking Damascus over the dark core. And that is why this one is nicknamed the HarleyQuinn.